Hi everyone, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. My name is Cindy. Thank you so very, very much for being here. I really, really do appreciate it. Okay, I don't know how it happened, but we're in August. So this seems to me to be the perfect time to take a look at the month of August and um, see how things are going to go. Certainly around politics, certainly around the US, certainly around your fearless leader. Ooh, look what flew out. Oops. For those of you who are just listening, it was the death card. Alrighty, let's take a look, shall we? I want to see what you can expect. Give you guys a little bit of a heads up. Certainly nothing significant is going to get done because, the always brave Mike Johnson has just sent everybody off for summer vacation because he didn't want to have a vote with regards to the Epstein files because he knew realistically that by and large there were going to be a lot of Republicans that voted with the Democrats simply because those Republicans represent um, Republican strongholds. And they're the ones who were so anxious for those Epstein files to be released. And it went from, this is going to be the most explosive thing you've ever seen, and finally the truth will come out about the Democrats, to, oh, don't worry about it, it's just a nothing burger. Of course, Trump at some point, I think in the spring, was notified by his people that in fact your name actually is on that list. So that's not going to go away. Let's just see what else we can anticipate. Also, I'm recording this on Saturday, August 2nd. Well, we missed the August 1st deadline. There was no 90 deals in 90 days. Canada did not capitulate and back down. He had a meeting with EU and came out of it saying, we got this and we got that and 60 billion and blah, blah, blah. And then the leader of the EU came out and said, no. What we have is a very tentative framework from which we can move forward. But, he has always been that person who just likes to state things as facts. And somewhere along the line, he realized or recognized that by and large, when you're dealing with somebody who is in a position of power, people don't correct you, right? They just sort of let it slide. They don't want to embarrass you, whatever the reason is. But one of the things that political leaders around the world are figuring out is that, first of all, he can't be embarrassed. It's just beyond his emotional makeup. And so, above and beyond that, there's no point for them to keep quiet because it doesn't serve any purpose. Here we go. August. Politics. USA. August Politics USA, August Politics USA. Six of Swords. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so for some of us, these cards are really, really good news. Okay, let's just see where it's taking us. Okay, so we're starting with the Six of Swords. So he's trying to get away from this. The Republicans are running away from it. Trump is throwing everything out there to distract, and it's not working this time. In part because the people who are not being distracted are his very mega voters. Um, and the numbers of people across the board who want that Epstein information released is huge. If I'm not mistaken, it was somewhere in the mid to high 70% of Republicans who want it released, and I think it went up to like 90% for Democrats, and certainly independents were in there with a good strong number. So he's made a mess, and of course, what does he do when he makes a mess? He runs away and blames somebody else and tells them to fix it. But the reality is he cannot run far enough, because you can't spend that many years screaming about how something is just totally going to obliterate your opposition, and then all of a sudden there's nothing to see here. So anticipate that we're going to continue to see this running away behavior, and we're going to continue to see this distraction. Three of Pentacles. You know, it's not just his name. It's not just evidence against him. And as I said before, it's not like some list where check off names. There are pictures, there are paperwork, there are documentation, there's videos, there's recordings, there's all kinds of stuff. And here we have it. So there is also a sense of we need to protect some very powerful people in this world, because that's not really good for us to just let this stuff out. But of course, you've got a man baby in office whose whole um, shtick is that he will say whatever he needs to say in the moment to get out of the moment, and he doesn't give one thought to the consequences. But there are people in powerful places who he recognizes, or his incompetent picks, like Bondi and Patel. Even they are capable enough of recognizing that this is like a power keg, right? A dynamite keg. What you're going to see is he's trapped with this. Okay, this one is not going to let go. We're going to be hearing about it all through August. And the more he tries to distract, where you're going to really, really hear the pushback coming from is going to be Republicans and Republican influencers, who are all starting to say, oh my God, he's lying to us. He played us. Hello. So, and those people, they're called influencers for a reason. They have influence, and they're not going to let this go. Um, and because of that, he's going to continue to get bound tighter and tighter. For those of you who may not have heard, he was giving sort of one of those off the cuff interview things that he does. And somebody said, no, and he was like, well, um, I haven't sort of been friends with um, Epstein for years and years. Why? Well, because he stole young girls from me and the spa at Mar-a-Lago, and he stole them from me, and you just don't do that to me. Okay, wait a minute. Shake your head. Did he just actually admit that he had young underage girls working at Mar-a-Lago in his spa? Oh, I guess he did. And he's going to continue to do and say whatever he needs to do and say. But you know what? The foundation is crumbling underneath him. The tower card, it's crumbling. It wasn't built on anything solid, and it is the foundation is cracking. That's what we're witnessing now. I mean, these ridiculous things about he's going to sue Hillary Clinton and he's going to sue Obama, and this is third world country stuff. But we have to remember that this is his mentality. This is his headspace. So again, Don't be alarmed when you hear this stuff. It's almost at this point one of those just shake your head and go, he's lost it. He's gone around the bend. The thing is that I want everyone to understand based on what I'm receiving in terms of information. And sometimes when we see the tower card, we sort of interpret it as boom, like an explosion, and everything shifts and changes. But this tower card it's more of a slow crumbling, like water on a rock, and eventually it will wear the rock away. That's what we're looking at here. Is this is an unfolding event. So for those of you and me and us who are just sort of praying for that one big thing, I'm not seeing that that's how it's going to unfold. I'm going to see it literally unfold, um, kind of brick by brick. You know that game? They give me the strangest pictures. You know that game, and I don't know what it's called, but it's like you have a whole bunch of interconnecting blocks, and they sort of form like a tower or something. And the idea is to extract one of them without compromising the structure so it doesn't fall down. And eventually somebody's going to pull out the one thing and then the whole thing falls to the ground. I don't know what the name of that is, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like blocks that's what this is. It's one extraction after another until there is nothing to hold this in place. He's all about, this is the greedy king, right? This is one of my cards for him, right? He's all about money right now. He got that $16 million because he didn't like the way 60 Minutes edited an interview with him. He just ensured that a merger, sorry, I think it's Skydance, but I could be wrong. Bought out Paramount, which is Stephen Colbert and 60 Minutes, etc. He got them to um, basically fire Colbert. Although, does anybody know for sure when his exit date is? Because it seems to me like it's not exactly tomorrow or the next day. It seems to me that it's a little farther down the road. And you can bet that Colbert is not going to be quiet during that period of time. But again, this was about lining his pockets, and again, he doesn't think about the consequences. It's like, you upset me, you betrayed me, I'm done, and I'm coming after you. This is it's how he functions, and you're going to see the ramifications of that. Certainly over the month of August, and I'm being told into September, you're going to see those kinds of behaviors becoming amplified, but you're also going to see the communication around it is not going to go his way. All right. He's going to be trying to get this message out. His little sycophants are going to be trying to get a message out. It's not going to work. And you're going to continue to see this building up of exactly how much is he stuffing into his pockets at the expense of everybody else. I saw this thing that said since he has been in office this time, he has spent 1/3 of his presidency at his own properties. Can you imagine? Truly, truly, can you imagine if any other president had done that? Not even just Democratic president, any other president. It would not have been tolerated. But in this case, for whatever reason, it is being tolerated. It's being accepted. It's just the way he is. But it's starting to wear thin. Really, really thin. Seven of Swords. This is the thing. If he had a diplomatic bone in his body, he would understand that very often, you accomplish more with diplomacy than you do with threats. Certainly, leaders from around the world understand this, or certainly leaders of democracy understand that. But he is going to continue to try to shift the narrative, cast blame everywhere else. He's going to continue. In fact, the bullying behavior, the I will take what I want, is going to become even more and more amplified. And unfortunately, it's going to speed up in August. And you know what? Don't freak out, because that is exactly the energy that we are looking for. Because again, go back to that game, right? Eventually, it's not a crash and burn until a whole bunch of support has been pulled away. And that's what we're seeing right now. And he's inching closer and closer to that tower moment. But he's going to keep pushing ahead because he doesn't know any other way to move forward. Listen, you've got the Empress here. So there is literally an abundance of information that is still out there. There is the kind of energy that creates new growth potential. For him, unfortunately, the growth potential is not exactly rainbows and butterflies, but it's out there and it's going to start circulating. He can play this game of stuffing his pocket. He simply wants the world to be. He wants the United States to be this: a whole bunch of haves, but even more have-nots, so that they can be treated like slaves, irregardless of your citizenship, your color, your religion. It doesn't matter. Either you're in that top 1 or 2%, or frankly, you don't exist. And again, I mean, I don't mean to harp on this, but where are the vast majority of his voters? They're not in that top 1 or 2%. They're the ones that are going to be hurt. Listen, everybody across the board is going to be hurt, but those red states, they're going to really, really feel it. But this sort of blatant, I will do this for you, you do this for me. That's what you're going to see a lot of in August. Honestly, from the Republican perspective, if he would just go somewhere and shut up for 3 or 4 weeks, it would make things much easier, except we know he's completely incapable of that. Interestingly, you have both the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands here. And so you're looking at female energy. You're looking at female energy that is wound up, that is emotional, that has come to a place where they realize they need to fix it and each other. They need to take a stand, and their stand has to do with communication, getting the word out, etc. So these are really powerful cards in terms of the kind of energy that you can expect to experience over the course of August and into September. People are going to become more and more vocal. They are not backing down. I mean, he got rid of Musk, thinking that that would quiet everything down, except it didn't. People are still super, super angry, and frankly, so they should be. Is he at a place where he is actually thinking about trying to calculate the best move for him? Yeah, he is. Is he ready to fly the coop? No, he's not. Um, but he is starting to put sort of some contingency plans, not in place as much as he's starting to build the framework. Where can I go? What country will, you know, welcome me with open arms? The other side of it, though, and this is the sort of the great dichotomy about Trump is on the one hand he can see what's happening and he knows it's not good. On the other hand, he simply chooses to ignore it and continue to feed himself these stories about how he's amazing, he's incredible, he's doing better than anybody could even imagine. The other side of the fact, this is about the money. And so what he can um finagle, demand, he will continue to do so. I am mindful of the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell has been moved to a lower security prison, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's like in Albuquerque. Um, but that move is going on. Is that part and parcel of um, pardoning her? I'm not sure. And I got to say, the reason I'm not sure is because I understand once you're pardoned, first of all, it is acknowledged that you actually did the thing you went to jail for. But secondly, once you've been pardoned, you don't have that Fifth Amendment right to not answer questions. And this is the thing, whether it is under this administration or the next administration, eventually about 80% of the truth is going to come out. Some stuff is simply not going to come out because it's too hot, it's too toxic, and it in some ways is really antagonizing people in countries that should not be antagonized. And 45 is not part of that group. Okay. We're talking about actual people with actual power. So I don't see him issuing a pardon, but I certainly see it something that gets dangled. Um, because eventually, what they're going to say is, we were working hard with her, and she just would not come to the table. So they're going to blame her. Listen, judgment is coming, and it's coming fast, and it's going to be harsh. You've got the Ten of Swords and the Five of Swords sitting right beside the Judgment card. So what we're looking at here is a difficult summer, a summer where 45 is going to be like everybody and their dog is stabbing him in the back, is betraying him, isn't loyal enough, and we know how he behaves when those sort of things are triggered, right? Um, but the judgment's coming in. It's not going to be pleasant because at the very least, the people who just basically believed everything he said, they're the ones who are now questioning. The rest of us have been questioning it for like 10 years. But they're the ones who are now going, wait a minute, something's not right here. And this is the thing, it doesn't need to be all of them. You get 5 or 10% who say, I'm done, he's done. And by extension, so is the power that he controls over Congress. Because at some point, people are going to say, you're not a threat to us, me, anymore. Okay? There is truly a change of fortune coming to me. This is the thing. We can't ever forget that he's I'm sorry, but he's a master at what he does. Okay, he's a complete failure as a human being and not much better as a business person. But he's really clever about um, eh, creating a story repeating it over and over and over and over again until it is simply accepted. He is a master of distraction. He and listen, he's not as good as he thinks he is, but he has a skill set there, and that skill set has basically protected him his whole life. And it's not going to continue. He is going to experience a significant reversal of his fortunes. And you can see in September, or sorry, into August and into September, what you're going to see is the walls just closing in and him becoming more erratic and more sort of out there. And the resistance from his base is going to be significant. And you know what? He's not going to be able to pull them back this time. They are leaving. And they're leaving him because they now recognize that he's not what they thought he was. And they're now in a position of becoming angry and resentful. And the more they do that, the more he holds. And he calls them stupid. Because sure, that's a brilliant way to get people to support you. Yeah, let's call them stupid. Because again, I'll say whatever I have to say in this moment to distract because I don't like the questions. I don't like, whatever it is. There we go, people. Buckle up. It's going to be a month. You would think summer out here in the northern hemisphere, it would slow down, it would quiet down. But no, that's not what's going on. It's going to continue to be sort of one crazy after the next. Things that they wish would just quietly go away are not going away. And those who have bowed down and kissed the ring are going to continue to suffer some significant re- reaction to some of the shenanigans that they are allowing him to pull. Right, that's the thing. That's what I know right now. It's going to be a month of like surprises. It's not going to be quiet, and it's not going to, in any way, shape, or form, help him. It's all going to continue to bring that wall in closer and closer and closer. And honestly, that's going to happen whether or not the Supreme Court sides with him or doesn't side with him on whatever it is, because people aren't buying that either anymore, right? They're no longer believing that the Supreme Court is impartial. They no longer believe that the Supreme Court is making decisions based on the Constitution. They're not making decisions based on it being a reflection of the will of the people. Okay, take your vitamins, get some rest, because August is going to be some kind of bumpy. But you know what? Listen, it's going to be a great bumpy in as much as secrets are being revealed and pressure increases. So that's something to look forward to. Alrighty. Thank you very, very much for being here. Don't forget to put those amazing questions of yours in the comment section below. Without those questions, there's no Pendulum Friday, and I recognize that by and large, Pendulum Friday seems to be everybody's most favorite um, video that I put out on a week by week basis. Okay. Thank you for being here. Until next time, take care and be well. Bye for now.